Are you thinking about using Facebook?
I'm still thinking about using YouTube and pretty much I have a photography business.
What you need to do is show your work. Lenovo and I have a lot of things in common. We care about people, we care about technology, and we also care about business. But massively, we're both global brands. So the fact is, technology is an enabler, but it's also a connector as well. Hi, welcome. So, explaining social media.
Chicken wing.
Hey everyone, I'm late and for a few reasons. Interestingly enough, I forgot to turn on my LinkedIn Live when I was recording. I went over time with my meeting with an awesome person who's also thinking about growing his audience and monetizing his expertise. It's been an amazing conversation. Sometimes when you have these conversations, you forget time, and that happened just before. And he had all the right attributes, which is kind of ironic because I'm talking about, like, you know you have an audience when you have the expertise, you have people demanding your services, when people are paying for your stuff, when you're creating content and people are super highly engaged, when people message you on a regular basis asking the same questions. So if you're going through this list and you're ticking these boxes, then you have a potential to build an audience, a vibrant audience, a community that wants to leverage your expertise and wants to hang out with you on a regular basis. Hi again, my name is String, and for those who don't know me, let me introduce myself. I'm a founder of The Trusted Voice. I've been growing and building my brand for the last 10 years. I'm known for being awesome on video, I'm a geek, I like fried chicken, I seriously like fried chicken. So every time you think and see fried chicken, you will think of me. And I'm going to talk about why fried chicken is really important to growing an audience as well, which means I should write that as a note. Don't forget to mention fried chicken. And we're going to be talking about how to grow an audience, why grow an audience on LinkedIn, tactics you could do and use to grow your audience on LinkedIn, and what are the things you should consider growing an audience on LinkedIn. Let me write my fried chicken thing notes there before I forget. For those who are watching, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Are you watching them from overseas? I'm trying to find the right time spot because I'm going to run these weekly LinkedIn live streams talking about actionable tips for you to build up your brand and stand out on LinkedIn. But also think about how you should grow your brand holistically, because you have all these years of knowledge and you want to know how to build content, create content, build a brand, and in this particular stream, how to grow an audience as well and why be on LinkedIn. So I noticed a few things why you should grow an audience on LinkedIn. If you're a business person, you're an expert, you had things to say here, you probably want to be active on LinkedIn. There's also organic opportunities. For the last 3 years, I grew from 0 to 40,000 followers, different from connections, and we're going to talk about that. Connections are first degree connections. That means when people send you a request or you send out a request and you connect, they have permission to hang out with you and direct message you inside your inbox. Followers are different. Followers are people who are consuming your content, are following your content, are following your profile, but they can't have access to your DMs. They could only have conversations with you in your comments. So that's a difference between connections and followers. A lot of people don't know this difference, which is understandable because LinkedIn has become really pretty much a content-driven platform in the last 3-4 years since I jumped on, and I wasn't even active on LinkedIn because I still think it's an old dinosaur. I still hate its UX experience, but because of those things, that's an opportunity for me to stand out because I know how to leverage on that. I know how to position myself. I know how to create funnels. I get messages every day with people. I'll go into meetings talking about how to build a brand, how to grow an audience. All these conversations I have, I personalize them in a way that could be actionable for you as well. So I grew and found so many opportunities just by being on LinkedIn, from funding my startup, being a brand ambassador. By the way, you saw my video before, didn't you? So I feel like being active on LinkedIn and growing an audience, whether it be on LinkedIn or on different platforms, these are things that you could put into action yourself. Before, like I mentioned, you have an audience when people DM you and ask you all the questions, and DM you and ping you when you're not rocking up to your own content, or your content is not being published. Literally, I had Shin, shout out to Shin, he messaged me, he's like, String, I can't find your live stream. Where are you, like, on growing on your audience on LinkedIn, where are you? So you have these kind of conversations with your followers or with people who are really actively following you and saying that your content's missing. And when I go radio silence, when I'm not pushing out content, I have inundated messages saying, String, where are you? I miss you. Where's your content? Are you okay? That's because when you become a channel, when you become a brand, there's an expectation for you to be always on top of mind, always pushing content on a regular basis, because you have become the source of truth, the trusted voice in that regards. So just before we move on to the next topic, I just have to make sure that my LinkedIn Live is streaming, and I see, thank you Shin and Xavier for rocking up. I know that I'm doing this twice, but before I forgot to turn on my other toggle onto YouTube and things. So if you hear these repeats again, same thing happening. And thanks for tuning in, Xavier, for tuning in Boston. If you're watching this as a replay and if you want me to audit your LinkedIn profile and you're watching right now, feel free to drop in your LinkedIn URL. I'm happy to audit your content and also help you position your brand better as well. So let me click onto this before we on to move in the next topic about why you should know and how to be thinking about your audience online. Won't take too long. Cool. Did it pop up? No. I saw there it is. I see myself, which is a good sign. Where are you again? All right. So the next question I want to talk about is connections. Oh, there you go. So I am live. That's great. Post. Did it pop up? Oh yeah, cool. I am live. Yes. That's a good sign. Oh, thank you, Jeannie, for the fried chicken as well. Yes, probably Sophia. Okay. Hello again. Awesome live stream to support the community. Thanks again. I saw some people dropping in their LinkedIn profiles, so that's a good sign. So the thing that I want to talk about next is connections and the different nuances of audiences, because I noticed that people don't know the difference between connections and followers, and that's important differences that you need to know the difference between. Again, connections are first degree connections where people, when they send out a request or you send out a request and you said yes, they have permission to have conversations with you in DMs. That's first connections. And LinkedIn has a high limit of first connections. So the most common problem that people do when they create connections is that when they add randoms. And when you add randoms, especially if you're a female, you go have all these weird conversations in your inbox. You know what I'm talking about. You go have these sleazy sales people. You go have people sending hi with no context. You go have people sending really weird Tinder vibe messages where it's saying you're pretty, hello. And that's because you're adding random people. I'm just gonna say it. Adding randoms just because you want to pump up your numbers is go open up to weirdos in your conversations and in your inbox. And one thing that I learned early on being a millennial hanging on the internet is you don't set boundaries, you go have these weird conversations. And I don't want eggplants in my inbox in different platforms. And I learned the more you add randoms, more likely you'll get these eggplant conversations. And truthfully, I'm actually really allergic to it. Like, if I eat eggplants, I die. Yes, true story. True story. I'm visually allergic to eggplants, but I'm also, when I eat them, my throat closes up. So I'm allergic to eggplants. So whether you may want to know, I'm laughing because I see a really, really weird visual right now. What I'm trying to say is, like, you should protect your inbox, you should protect your connection list. Imagine being connected with a random and your mutual connections, when they look at it, it's like, who's this person? Why are they connected with this person? If you had bad eggs inside your connections, it actually ruins your reputation and lowers your brand value and your connection value and your net worth. So we heard this term, your net worth is your net worth. So you should think about who your connections are. And the most common thing, especially when you're like starting out or trying to be active on LinkedIn, is that people just like add people just to pump up the numbers. But what it does is, like, it just dilutes your branding. And if you're building up an audience, followers again, just to reiterate, followers are people who are following your content. They're not directly connected with you. They're not connections. That means they do not have access to your inbox. That means they cannot have direct conversations with you. There's a bit of a barrier to have conversations. The only time they could have conversations are in your comments, when every time you push out a content. And for a lot of people, content creators are channels because they push out regular content, is when they have conversations with you. So I know I have an audience when people are regularly commenting on my threads, regularly contributing to conversations in my comments. And that's the kind of audience you want, because then by doing that, it actually shows like what type of people, the folks that you want to hang out with. And when you're a brand, when you have a strong audience, you go to brands and find sponsorship. You can monetize this. So imagine having, like, think of YouTubers, when they have subscribers, they go over to the brand and say, hey Lenovo, or hey KFC, I have a bunch of like entrepreneurs who really care about fried chicken, and they're like fried chicken lovers. Would you like to do a brand sponsorship? KFC could turn around, String, we don't really care about entrepreneurs, but we care about the fried chicken people. The fact that you have a very strong fried chicken brand and people who love fried chicken, who send you fried chicken stories every day, we want to like support this brand and be aligned. Remember, brands want to be aligned with other brands who are aligned as well. And if you don't have an audience that are aligned with what they're trying to achieve, why would they want to sponsor you? Why would they want to pay for your services? Why would they want to pay for your content? So you have to make sure your audience, you know who your audiences are. And that's the other common problem. The second common problem is that you don't know who your audience is. You don't know what makes up, or who makes up your audience. Is it 50% women, 50% men? Are they entrepreneurs? Are they like B2B? The more niche you are, the more you go to other brands and sell them. It's like, hey, I have 40,000 followers. All of them are 80% of them are entrepreneurs. 30% of them are in the tech startup world. 40% of I'm just making up numbers right now. 40% of them are non-tech people that are interested in convenience and learning, want to know how to monetize their expertise. Would you like to be part of my package for my newsletters? Or even what I did with early on is like showed my awesome Lenovo video, because I'm a brand ambassador for Lenovo, and create these like ad moments where people could sponsor like airtime in these conversations, in these like live streams. So you could always package your brand, but an audience is an asset that you have to cultivate and know back to front, because one, they dictate how you create content. Two, you could like monetize them. Three, you could do a lot of interesting stuff, but also you could promote your own products, or offer like some kind of brand sponsorship as well. So these are things that you could consider when you're like trying to monetize your influence. And the other thing that you should think about before you build up an audience is like, why are you doing it? Are you trying to be famous? To tell the truth, being famous is not sustainable, because when you're developing content, it becomes a bit of a roller coaster ride. you'll find this moment when you're like hitting peak and you're so happy right at the moment. You're so happy like creating content. You're so happy when people are engaging with your content. But when there's like these lows, people are not engaging in your content, people are not pushing you, people don't resonate with your content, you have like these mini lows or like really low lows. And that happens to me too when I push out an experiment. But I don't do that to get eyeballs or to be famous. I do it because I want to master storytelling. I want to master different video platforms and master like how to do things better. So I don't do it for fame. It just happens to be that I resonate with a lot of people, and a lot of people are looking for me to like find advice. My goal to build an audience is to help people do better on LinkedIn, to build up a better brand, for them to be the trusted voice in the industry. That's my goal, because I feel like it's a waste to have all this knowledge in your head and you don't do anything proper about it. So that's what I do. Why do you do what you do? Why do you want to be famous? Why do you want to grow an audience? Like, you should answer these questions first, because that will help with the clarity with how you want to position yourself on LinkedIn as well. So yes, okay, let me go through my comments again and see what people are trying to say. I see some really awesome conversations right now, and I'm glad that you're in. It's something that I'm trying to do on a regular basis. No, yes, Jeannie, eggplant does sucks. So can you audit our connections? Yes, Jeannie asked a really good question. You could actually audit by downloading your list, but also just go through your connection list. Probably should like pop that up. I'm doing some free balling at the moment. What do I need to do? Yeah. Bear with me at the moment because I feel like I haven't set up my stuff up properly, and I realized like I didn't put up a window where people want to see my streams. So actually, if you go through my network, I should probably share my screen. Yeah, bear with my pause a moment. What window capture? I'm going to show you my screen. Okay. Alt, you see me freeballing at the same time. Alt, I don't want you to see that. I don't want you to see that. Okay, got it. Yes, I know, I'm doing this. Alright, so if you go onto my network, you could see who are the people that are trying to connect with you. And I get lots of weird messages and bots. One day, maybe next week or the week after, we could talk about messages. So you have connections as well. So this is where you could like click onto, and when you click onto these connections, you could start looking at it. Sometimes like even like this, like does Joshua have like really on brand point? So I go through the content and see if they're aligned with me, but I try to like add people. I have my own yes list and no list. I have yes lists. I want to connect with other marketers, yes list other entrepreneurs, yes list investors. On my yes list are creative people. On my no list like there's certain people that I say no to. So you should have your own yes no list. People who I know and chat to, I add onto my yes list, but I'm really cautious. I'll go show you my network again. For example, should I connect with Sam? He hasn't left a message, but I look for my mutual connections, and I look through this list, and I know Diana, but Diana likes to tend to add everyone. That's her style, not in a good or bad way. I just know that she tends to open. If you look through our connections as well, Diana has like 500. If we look in, there's a button that says mutual connections somewhere, but see how there's 16 connections. Carmen is not connected with me, but she's an owner. I'm not in that space, so she looks like she's in the health industry. Truthfully, I don't want to go into the health industry, so I'll probably go ignore her. I'm not doing it as a fancy thing. I just know who I want to add. Alan Barker is an advisor for direct acquisition, and he's connected with Haley. I'm going to ignore that one. E-commerce people, I look at them, I look at this message, a recent person resonates with you. I hope you could develop my, she could just follow me. I don't need to be directly connected with her. Haley, like Ashley is like, we're both in the tech space and we have a few people in common. You have 41 people in common, but these are people who are active on LinkedIn, but not really. Truthfully, she's not in my space as well. Who else is like what I'm trying to say is I'm careful with who I'm connected with, and if I see people send me their weird messages every day, and if I see someone, I'm always looking for an excuse to say no. Things I like to connect. Truthfully, this doesn't really resonate with me. This doesn't really resonate with me, but it kind of fits in my profile. But the only problem is like he's at the moment like adding a lot of random people as well. So what I'm trying to say is like you should be thinking about your yes and no list and your connection list, but also understand who your audience is. Okay, let's get into the real topic of connections, of building up an audience. One of the reasons why I use fried chicken is because if you watch and read my content, smart people would do is they send me messages about fried chicken, and when people send out messages about fried chicken, I'm like, yes, they've read my content. So I'm using these like signals as a way for people to join my clubhouse. My clubhouse is my connections, right? My clubhouse is my community. So when they want to actively join the Trusted Voice community on Facebook, I know they've usually wanted to grow their brand, so I'm happy to say yes to them. But for people who want to join and add connections, I'm always looking for my connections requests to see who are sending out fried chicken, because when I scroll through and I see a fried chicken, I'm like, this person has read my stuff. I appreciate those type of people. That's like a club code word to say fried chicken. So if you're watching this content right now and you're reaching out and you said fried chicken, I know that you watched my stuff, that you read my content. Like Jeannie was smart to like put and drop fried chicken comments in there. And my KPI for success, for audience engagement, for community engagement is how many fried chicken stories do I get per day? Do you have something like that where you have like a secret code word, a brand visual, a visual anchor for people to associate with you by? Is it coffee? Is it fried chicken like me? What is that visual association that you want people to like associate with you? That's part of like growing your brand as well. And plus fried chicken is like my secret code word for my audience and my followers to like connect with me directly. If they don't mention fried chicken, I know they're mostly likely a bot, or the most likely person who just like saw my profile but not really read my content properly. So these are little tips and cues on how to build up your community, because you want to have like these in jokes, these like moments of conversations. When a person comes into it, they don't get it, but the person who is part of my community, they get my fried chicken jokes. They get that like I talk about things. I have a feeling that maybe eggplants will be that running joke, but I don't want to introduce that as part of my brand visuals. So think about how you want to stand out on LinkedIn, and I'm going to rename this title, edit post. LinkedIn tips, how to grow your audience. Save. Okay, I've done that. 40 comments. Very insightful. Thank you, Cheryl. So that's again most recent. A thumbs up. Thank you, Tony. I had an amazing conversation, by the way, with our friend, to the point where we went overtime and I was late to my own stream. So yes. Okay, I'm gonna look at Cheryl's ones. Let me look at Cheryl's like profile. Oh, what's the other thing that I want to talk about? So what are the tactics? Let me change the screen a little bit. What are the tactics that you should consider while growing your audience? Let me repeat the things that you should think about, that you know you have something, that you know that you have to grow an audience on LinkedIn. You're an expert. You get inundated amount of questions asking the same amount of questions, to the point where people ask the same questions over and over again. It doesn't have to be one person, but it would be a multiple array of people asking the same questions over and over again. The third one is that you have a lot of conversations inside your DMs. 4, like you push out occasional content and there's high engagement with that. So you're hitting and triggering something that a lot of people are super interested in. And I'm going to repeat the first one again. You have a lot of knowledge and you want to like share that knowledge in your head. So, but you have to understand, you have to like know where to position yourself in the marketplace so that you create some kind of demand. Having an audience validates your demand and your expertise. So that's one of the reasons why people want to be famous. I say famous. Truthfully, I actually think if you don't know the reasons why you want to grow or build a brand or why you want to grow an audience, being famous, being an influencer is like what I call candy or really low tier goals, because that won't sustain you when you build up a brand. Like I do it because I want to master shit. I want to be master storytelling. I want to master video storytelling. I want to master how I convey myself online. How, like, that's why I do what I do every day. It's because I want to be creative every day. Like I know I'm the most happiest when I'm creating content, and along the way helping others, being super creative, being their authentic selves online, especially when they're projecting their knowledge and helping others. Like those are the type of people that I want to help. And that's why I set up the Trusted Voice, to help them amplify their voice, be the trusted voice online. So I'm really excited when I did my startup, and now that I'm helping others do it, to be their own creative self online. That's something that I believe in. So why do you do what you do? Why do you want to build up an audience? Why do you want to build up a brand? Being an influencer, finding clients, that won't sustain you. That's like why don't you just get a job instead? That's a much easier approach, because being a creative or being a channel online or building an audience so you could like get jobs, you don't need, truthfully, you don't need to have 1 million views or a million subscribers or 1 million followers. You just need to know that you're doing it for the right reasons. Cool. So comment below if you want me to audit your brand or check out your brand and give you some feedback on how to grow your audience, or maybe, because I'm going to like think of it from an audience point of view. It's like, should I follow this person or not? That's the other question to consider when you're building up an audience. Should I follow this person or not? Let's see something. So here are some actionable tips and tactics to grow your audience. Know your brand. 2, understand your folks. Who are the people that you want to serve? If you are a B2B salesperson, that means like there are businesses, corporations, enterprises, salespeople, sales trainers that want your expertise on how to like do better deal flow or better sales or pipelines. So understand where you sit in the market space. 3, create content. You're silent if you're not creating content. On LinkedIn, what I noticed, let me get some water. So on LinkedIn, not that many people are pushing out weekly content. So if you push out weekly content, you're already in the 1 percentile in the world. And there are 650 million people on LinkedIn, but they're not pushing content on a regular basis. That's because they're scared. Scared of being judged, scared of being having light shine on them, scared of like critiques. I get typos all the time, but my audience, this is how cute they are. They want to have conversations with me, so they message me, String, you have a typo here. And sometimes I do these typos deliberately, sometimes I don't. But the thing is, like, people are finding excuses to like connect with you. So I use these typos as an opportunity to find free proofreaders, but also like to allow people to connect with me. So I'm not about being perfectionist. I'm all about conveying my message in the right way. And that's the thing, like your perfection, your inner voice in your head is stopping you from creating content. And when I first started, I wrote in a passive tone. I was a terrible writer. I almost failed in English, and now look at me, I'm creating content on a regular daily basis to be on top of mind, to be a channel. So that's segue to the other approach, is be a channel. Pushing out daily content helps, because what it does is that it allows you to be on top of mind, allows people to consume. And the way that LinkedIn works, especially the followers, is that not everyone gets to see your content at that point in that time. And that's why there are like people like Gary Vee who are pushing 2-3 times a week. 2 or 3 times a day, because their volume of 1 million subscribers or followers allows them to push that much. But if you're like someone who has only 1,000 connections, you don't want to annoy them. You don't want to annoy them with like really bad content or low quality content. So 1,000 means like, oh, I should push out daily. And if they're seeing, and there's a lot of lurkers. So the goal when you push out content is, how do I get them to have conversations? So make sure you have really good call to actions with your content. Make sure it's engaging. Make sure when you push out content that they want to tune in. Like this, I'm only pushing out these live streams every week because I know there's a demand for people to do better on LinkedIn. So pushing out daily content helps, especially with a channel approach, with a brand approach. And content is king, but video, I feel like, is a superpower. It accelerates your trust. It makes you stand out, it makes you super confident, and it allows you people to see your personality and see the truth in you as well. So I hope these things, actionables, that help. So the next thing that I'm going to work on is I'm going to give feedback on people's content. So if you want me to audit or give feedback on your LinkedIn profile, feel free to like comment below. So I'm going to set that up right now and read the comments that I'm getting a lot as well. Saver asked a question, as someone who just wants to build their brand, which form of LinkedIn Premium would you say is ideal? Why, Saver, knowing that you're a professional, I'll get your company to pay for your premium account. And truthfully, if you're like, I actually don't think, I love LinkedIn, but there are some things that I don't think is worth it, and LinkedIn Premium is one of them, because your premium account doesn't give really, it just gives you more emails. Do you want to connect with more people? Creating content is a better way of doing inbound connections, because people are connecting with you, so you're not wasting that email approach. Plus, like, you know, when I first started, I didn't even have a premium account. I didn't even have any paid account. One of the cool tools that I use on a regular basis, if I want to like connect with people, is using Sales Navigator. If Google is an index of knowledge and you could type something in to find information, then YouTube is a place for learning to do how-tos. Then LinkedIn is an index of professional people based on job titles. So if I were you, I'd just like use the search bar tool to find things. What other questions are there as well? Pink Rhino. Oh, there are 23 people hanging out with me on LinkedIn right now. Amazing. Thank you for your time. And Sophia is part of my community as well. So yes, Sales Navigator is so much better than Premium. Alright. Okay, I'm going to pick 2 people from this. Okay, for those who are commenting, for example, what is your sidebar camera setup? For people who want to know my technical skill sets, like, you have to be part of my Trusted Circle community to be that. Like, I don't think anyone on LinkedIn, even live, has my setup. I'm pretty awesome in that regard. I know people always ask these kind of questions, but I'm not talking about my equipment today. I'm talking about how to grow an audience. Okay. Let's see. All right. Picking people. I'm gonna pick. No worries. Okay. I'm trying to find the people that I want to like pick and think. Tim Swanston, you're actually within my framework, but okay, I'm just going to pick Tim Swanston as one person. There's another person that I want to like give kudos to. Cheryl Whittier. And then there's also Macholo Asale. Alright, those are the 3 people that I'm going to do a profile audit on. So Tim Watson, first impressions, you're a financial advisor. I actually think you're trying to be too much. So are you trying to be, I don't know who your audience is. I'm going to give him first impressions of things, right? I feel like you don't know how to position yourself. Are you a retirement person? See, that's the thing about branding is like you're mixed signalling at the moment. I'm just trying to do something. Oh, see that little inbox? That's me. Yep, I'm good. All right, Tim, if you're watching this, you're kind of in my prime candidate of who I invite to the trusted circle, because maybe the fact that you're in education and you want to push out content, you're pushing out content, but the fact that you have a really low following count means that you're not really actively connecting with people. But also the fact is, when you post out stuff, you're posting out unoriginal content. But I love this, right? It shows that you have coffee meetups and you're a family guy and you have a really cool tech setup, but you need to be more active in your content. And pushing out Instagram posts like this doesn't really grab attention. If anything, if I have to redo your profile or think about it, is like, what do you want to be known for? Are you a financial advisor to help retirement? Are you a financial advisor that educating people to gain more freedom? So that's something that, that I'm like really confused about. So you help other people create, their financial goals, which, by the way, a lot of people want that, but when it comes to connecting with your avatar, it does not seem to be really resonating. It's too broad. What I'm trying to say is like you're not positioning yourself as the go-to person for financial advice. So no one wants to connect with you. It may be that you're pushing out content, but they're confused about like, why should they follow you? Why should they connect with you? So that's something to consider. And one thing that I notice is that I don't feel like I want to connect with you. That's just my honest opinion. I'm really frank with the way I audit stuff. So think about, if I were you, I think about how do you want to position yourself? How do you stand out? There's so many, if you type in financial advisor in people, there are 2,760,000,000 people with the word financial advisor. How do you stand out with this many financial advisors? And if you go on location in Seattle, Greater Seattle, there are 20,000 financial advisors in Seattle, but why would they want to pick you? How do you stand out? Why should they pick you? And if you look at, like, these are the people that you're competing with. Are you like a financial advisor for small business owners? Are you a financial advisor for like business owners? Are you a financial advisor for entrepreneurs? Who are the people that you want to take care of? Okay, moving on to the next person. Cheryl, transforming learning experience. This is my reaction looking at Cheryl's thing. Like, what are you a host of? And also, how does that relate back to your positioning in terms of transforming learning experiences and potential for the thing about positioning is that you have to repeat everywhere, from the banner to the headline to even repeating and expanding of this. Why am I different? What's my core? Yeah, I don't know how you're transforming lives. Like, when I read this copy, I'm trying to find a copy that says like, this is how I transform and make journeys. If you decide to, like, the only time that I see anything about transformation is if you decide to transform the learning experience of your audience. But why is that important? So what I'm trying to say is, like, tap into your inner, like, you're giving out really mixed signals to the point where it's like, oh, this person doesn't know how to position herself. So clarity, your lack of clarity is making me confused about what do you do. Are you offering LinkedIn, branding, or are you offering learning experiences? So that means like you are thinking, are you in the moment, like maybe you're in a moment of transitioning, but your LinkedIn profile for free graduates or students and unemployed professionals, and then how's that like helping with learning experiences? So that's what I'm confused about. So this is like what I mean by perception and brand positioning. If you don't know, what are you trying to do, and what do you want to do to help people? Are you like trying to unlock potentials, or are you a LinkedIn marketer? So that's something to consider. It seems like you're really thinking about like, so that's what I'm confused about. Just letting you know, I'm kind of curious about your YouTube channel, but I'm not talking about your, actually, let's go. I'm kind of curious about your YouTube channel. Is it brand consistent? Control copy. It doesn't want to work. It doesn't work, your LinkedIn URL. Just letting you know this one doesn't work. Okay, next person. Are you a rubbish guy? Yes. So I feel like at least this photo is on point here. Waste collection, again, just because like, one of the common problems with Michelle, why should I connect with you? I'm on. Oh, thank you.
It's hot.
It's hot. If you like Being Me, you should get a cup. Being Me is a web series that I marketed and support. It's about it's Dinah's show and my show too. Like I'm supporting Dinah telling her story. Okay, so the common thing that people do with headlines is like they feel like they have to put, this jobs and services on there, but it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Just because you put in a series of job titles, you're better off with a job title and understanding like making the world a cleaner place, or making Atlanta a much cleaner place, and that makes more intrigue and shows like you're really proud about your work. But saying like, this is what I'm going to read out loud: waste collection, recycling solutions, industrial, commercial, compactor rental, dumpster rental, electronics, and universal recycling. Michelle, do I sound excited when I repeated all this? That's kind of the impression that you're giving when you're like doing this. And if anything, you're an environmental consultant. You're like awesome at project management. You know your stuff in terms of like business and within that waste collection, but your expertise is not being shown here. But I know what industry you're in. You're in the cleaning industry. You're in the environmental cleanup industry. It's for someone who's like a marketing thing, again, it's the same thing. Ironically, meta-wise, how are you positioning yourself? Like, it doesn't show anything. When I read this and there's a bit of a disconnect, like when you talk about waste collection, I expect waste collection stuff here. There's no waste collection here. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to read through the comments below. A lot of times when I read profile things, I just think about like, are they branding themselves properly? Are they positioning themselves properly? Are they reinforcing the branding position? Do they know where they sit in the marketplace? Do they know who their target audience is? What makes them interesting? Like, those are the kind of questions that pop up when I look for people's profiles. Okay, I'm going to read through people's comments. And if you want to know how to like build a brand, this is me pitching. Where's my little arrow thing there? You should join the trusted circle. Can I? Yeah, I'm going to click onto this. Heading. I'm going to type the trusted circle. Okay. Let's see. What are the comments that I'm getting at the moment? Recycle 15. Oh, that's about it. Sure. Well, if you want me to like give feedback to you, you should just pay to be part of my circle or pay for my services. Like, I know that everyone wants like, what's ironic is like people will go into my DMs and say, String, can you give me feedback? And then I tell them, yeah, you can. Like, if I missed out on your one, it's because you weren't in part of my stream. But also you should just join the Trusted Circle so I could give you a personalized feedback on positioning and your branding online. What should I say? Oh, it's really hot tea. What, like Michelle, you should like think about your positioning. What do you want to be known for? Like, you should know marketing. Think about it from, if you're a marketer, I'm just going to give marketing advice to you. You should know and treat yourself like a client. It's like, how do I want to position myself? Am I a waste collection expert, or am I a marketer? Or am I a marketer in the waste collection space? I don't know your brand. I don't know your 7Bs to give you the best advice. I'm just giving you my first impressions and the brand disconnect that I see on your profile. And sure what, I'm going to tune out because I have to get ready for another presentation. If you want me to like actually audit your profile, just join the Trusted Circle. Yes, that's how I make money. These webinars are like great. These like live streams are great because I get to share knowledge, but it doesn't mean that I'm not an expert. So what I'm trying to say is like, if you want your brand to be audited and you want to be on point, consider joining the Trusted Circle. Is that a hard sell? Yes, because I know my shit. Cool, I'm going through, what camera are you using? I will let you know, Steve. I'll give you my list because you're my people. If you're part of the Trusted Circle, I tend to like share information a lot more openly. But when it comes to free stuff like LinkedIn live streams, I'm very protective of who I share information with. But if you're part of my community, I'm always happy to share. Your success is my success. Okay, that's about it. I have to get ready for another presentation because I have to get ready for that. And I'm really looking forward to next week's conversation. Yes, see, Steve is going to join. So it's all about timing as well. Are you ready to build up a brand? Are you ready to work on your stuff? Are you ready to shine in the light and be prepared to share your knowledge? And you don't have to do this alone because, you know, I did it alone for so long, and I had these moments where it's like, oh, I should not be famous because I'm scared of the attention I get. But that's all inside of here. And what I realized is that the best way to protect myself and my ego, the healthy ego, is to set up the boundaries of what I want to be known for and protect my brand as well. I look forward to these conversations, whether it be in the comments below, in my polls, for people who are following, for people on YouTube, or people on LinkedIn, on my Facebook group, The Trusted Voice. You make me want to stream every week, even every day, but I run a business as well, so I get it. So I look forward to seeing you again next week. I'm also preparing to invite amazing experts, people who are amazing in digital marketing, and talk about their do's and don'ts of what to do and how to run a business online as well. So I look forward to these conversations with you again next week.